What had passed within the inner apartments was still unknown to the people of the town. But Rama, for his part, lost not a moment. Quietly, he began to make himself ready for the life of the forest, setting aside the comforts of a prince as calmly as a man lays down a garment he no longer needs. Once more, Rama went to Queen Kausalya to take her blessing before he left the city for good. She looked up at him with eyes still swollen from weeping, and the same anguished thought rose again to her lips. For a mother's heart could not so quickly be reconciled to losing her only son. How can I remain in Ayodhya once you are gone? Kausalya said again. It is best that I come with you to the forest. Grief spoke through her, though somewhere within she knew better. She clung to the hope that she might yet share her son's exile rather than the empty years of waiting. In truth, she knew her place was here, to serve her aging husband and share his sorrow in his lonely old age. But her mind was so darkened by grief that she could no longer see her duty plainly. The clear path of dharma had blurred beneath the weight of a mother's breaking heart. But Rama would not hear of it. Gently, he set her mind again upon her duty. To stay beside the heartbroken old king, who would need her most of all in his sad solitude. To abandon her husband now, he reminded her, was a grief she must not add to the grief already come. She saw the justice of his words and yielded. Through sweet blessings salted with her broken tears, she gave him leave to go. Do as your father has decreed, she whispered, and return to me in glory. It was the hardest benediction a mother ever gave, and the most loving. Rama put fresh heart into her with a gentle smile. The 14 years will pass more quickly than you fear, mother, and you will see me home again. His calm confidence was a lamp held out in her darkness, and for a moment, her weeping eased before the steadiness of her son. And as he received his mother's blessings, a strange radiance kindled on his face. It was the sublime loveliness that comes of a great renunciation. The glow of one who has surrendered a kingdom without a pang. An inner light seemed to shine through him, brighter for all that he had willingly laid down. Earlier, when Sumantra's summons came, Rama had left Sita to go before the king. All this while she had waited, picturing his return in a gilded chariot beneath the royal umbrella, a great retinue at his back. The newly anointed heir riding home in splendor to his beloved. But Rama came back alone, unattended, without chariot or umbrella, stripped of every mark of royalty, and upon his face, Sita read the glow of some fixed and solemn resolve. He entered slowly, turning over in his heart. How he might break to his beloved the news that he was bound for the forest. Something troubles the mind of my lord, Sita thought, watching him closely. Yet what can trouble either of us, so long as our love endures? Reading the strangeness on his face, she went to him and asked softly, "What is the matter, my lord? Why do you look upon me so strangely?" Rama told her the story briefly and then went on. "My love, I can well imagine your sorrow at having to part from me and remain behind. Yet, Janka's daughter needs no teaching from me in the ways of duty. Be mindful of the comfort of the king and of your 3 royal mothers. Look for no better treatment than the other princesses of the palace," he said. "Be respectful to Bharat, who will now be ruler, and take the greatest care never to wound his feelings. Let your love for me not grow the less through all this long absence, and I shall return when the 14 years are done. Neglect no customary rite while I am gone," Rama continued. Mother Kausalya, in her sorrow, will have need of your loving care. Bharat and Shatrughna are dear to me. Look upon them as your own brothers. Conduct yourself as befits your royal birth, and avoid praising me too warmly, lest you give offense to other good men. I must go to the forest this very day, he ended. Keep your mind steady and calm. He believed he was doing his gentle duty by her, arranging her comfort and safety in his absence. But he had not reckoned with the fire that lay hidden in the softness of Sita's devoted heart. As Sita listened to this unexpected speech, her deep love for Rama flared up as anger. Anger that he could imagine, even for a moment, that she would consent to part from him and live at ease in the palace while he wandered, homeless, through trackless forests. Her gentle face changed, and her dark eyes kindled. A fine speech you have made, O knower of Dharma, she said. It is a strange doctrine to me that a wife is a thing apart from her husband, that his duty is not hers, that she has no right to share in it. This I can never accept. Your fortunes are mine, and mine are yours. If Rama must go to the forest, she declared, then the command holds Sita too, for she is a part of him. I shall walk ahead of you along the forest paths and tread the thorns and stones smooth, that they may not hurt your feet. Do not think me willful. My parents themselves taught me this dharma. What you tell me runs clean against all that they taught me. Sita went on. My one path, my only course, is to follow you wherever you may go. If you set out this day, then this day I set out at your side. There is nothing here to debate. Do not suppose the forest is beyond my bearing. With you beside me, the forest will be a joyous holiday, she said. And I shall never be a burden to you. I shall eat fruit and roots as you do, and never lag behind upon the road. Long have I wished to walk the woods at your side and rejoice in the great mountains and rivers. I shall pass the days most happily, Sita said, among the birds and the flowers, bathing in clear rivers, and keeping the daily rites. Away from you, I care nothing for heaven itself. I shall surely die if you leave me behind. I implore you, take me with you. Have pity on me. Do not forsake me now. Begun in anger, her speech dissolved at last into sobs. Gently, Rama tried to explain that forest life was not the easy idyll she imagined, and he set forth at length its hardships and its dangers, urging her once more, for her own sake, not to think of coming with him into the wilderness. Sita's eyes only filled the more. Tigers, lions, bears and serpents. None will come near me, she wept. They will flee at the very sight of you. Sun and rain and wind, hunger, thorns and stones. I shall endure them all gladly. But be certain of this. Life will depart from this body if you go and leave me here. When I was in Mithila, Sita said, the Brahmins and astrologers told my mother I was destined to dwell for a time in the forest. How can I fulfill that prophecy here, alone? Here is my chance to fulfill it in your company, which will turn the wilderness itself into a garden of delight. For whom is forest life unpleasant? She asked. Only for those who have never mastered their senses. You and I are masters of ours and shall miss nothing at all. I beg you, put me not away from you, for parting from you is a thing far crueler to me than death itself. There is a strength in supreme love that defies all reason and laughs even at death. Every passionate word she spoke found ready, lodging in Rama's heart, for his love was as great as her own. That and his sure confidence that he could keep her safe at last overcame him. And so it was settled. Sita would go with Rama to the forest. His heart, conquered by a love as brave as his own, could refuse her no longer. In that moment, the two stood as one, bound not by a crown or a palace, but by a devotion that no exile and no hardship could ever divide. At once, Sita sent for the poor and gave away all that she owned, and made herself ready for the forest. Lakshman too came resolved to follow his brother and serve him in the wilds, and Rama could not refuse him. So the three of them set out together to take their leave of the aged king. The three went out on foot, and the whole city gathered to watch. From crowded streets, from balconies, from every window and terrace, the people of Ayodhya saw Rama, Lakshman, and the princess walking humbly through the dust, plain as the poorest folk of the land. The heir who should have ridden crowned in glory. Grief and indignation swept through the crowd, and the people cried out to one another, "What manner of king is this, who sends so noble a prince into the forest? And there walks our Sita, a princess who should command the royal chariot. How shall her tender feet bear the heat and the rain of the wilds? This is monstrous." "Then we too shall go to the forest," the people vowed.
"Let us gather all we have and follow the princess.
"Where Rama dwells shall be our Ayodhya. Let these deserted houses fill with snakes and rats, and let Kaki rule over ruins. The forest shall become the city, and the city a forest." Rama heard their loving clamor, but paid it no heed and walked on. At the entrance to Kakeyi's palace, he found the faithful Sumantra seated apart in a corner, bowed with sorrow. Rama spoke to him tenderly. "The three of us have come to see the king. Sumantra, go and crave his leave for us to enter." Sumantra went in to announce them, and what a sight met his eyes, like the sun swallowed in eclipse, like an oven heaped over with cold ash, like a tank whose waters have wholly dried. The king lay stretched flat upon the floor. His glory fled, his face shrunken and distorted with unbearable anguish. With trembling voice and hands clasped in reverence, Sumantra spoke. "My lord, the prince waits at the entrance. He seeks audience to take your blessing before he gives away all that he has and sets out for the Dandaka forest." Slowly, the broken king roused himself and bade Sumantra let his beloved son come in. Rama entered and bowed to the king from a distance. But the moment Dasaratha's eyes fell upon his son, he sprang suddenly to his feet and rushed forward with open, yearning arms to embrace him. And before he could reach Rama, the old king's strength failed, and he dropped senseless in a swoon. Rama and Lakshman tenderly raised the fallen king and laid him upon his couch. "My lord," said Rama, "we have come to seek your leave to depart for the forest. Vaidehi and Lakshman go with me too, for all that I could do to dissuade them. Give us now your blessing and your leave to go." Dasaratha's eyes opened, and out of his torment came the words that had long haunted his mind. "Rama, I am bound by the boons I gave to Kaikeyi, but you are not so bound. Why do you not brush me aside, my son, and seize the kingdom by force?" It was the one desperate solution he had secretly nursed. But Rama answered without a moment's hesitation. "I have no desire for kingdom or for power. Father, may you reign 1,000 years and more. My heart is set now upon the forest, and I am ready to start the instant you have blessed me. When the 14 years are over, I shall return and lay my head at your feet. The king's last faint hope now died within him. Go then, my son, bring glory to our royal line and come back unscathed. But do not leave this very day. Spend one night more with me. Let me fill my eyes with the sight of you and go at dawn. I grasped that promise blind, like a live coal hidden under ash. Send for Bharat now, father, and fulfill your promise to Mother Kakai. Rama urged, cast aside your grief. Shed no more tears. Can the boundless ocean ever run dry? So may your steadiness never fail. You are my God, and I take it that it is God who sends me to the forest. Delaying a sorrow never turns it to joy. Grasping at any comfort, the king ordered Sumantra to send with Rama a whole army, chariots, elephants, horses, foot soldiers, and stores enough for years, that his son's exile might seem a royal progress rather than a banishment. But at his words, Queen Kakei's fair face went pale with rising anger. In a voice trembling with scornful wrath, Kakei struck at him. A generous monarch indeed. You would hand Bharat a kingdom only after squeezing out all its worth. An empty vessel offered in mockery to a man dying of thirst. What pleasure shall my son have, ruling over a deserted land? Even the courtiers murmured in disgust. Rama put an end to the bitter quarrel, refusing every royal trapping. What use has a forest dweller for an army, or for the glittering pomp of a pageant? Having gladly given up the throne, why burden myself with its chains? I need nothing but bark garments such as the rishis wear, and a spade and a basket. Unblushing, Kaikeyi herself hastened to fetch the forest dress she had kept ready. Rama and Lakshman wrapped themselves in the rough bark and shone like radiant sages. When Rama gently knotted the bark over Sita's silk, the ladies in waiting wailed aloud, and Dasaratha swooned once more. Lowering his eyes, Rama tenderly commended gentle Kausalya to the king's care, then turned and went out, unable to bear his mother's grief, while the broken old king covered his face with his hands.